Today, we'll be discussing and demoing a useful feature of SAP Ariba reporting, ad hoc and scheduled report exports to Excel or CSV. You can export reports from SAP Ariba to Microsoft Excel using a template that determines how the data is displayed in Excel. You can choose which template you'd like to export the data in or create your own. Make sure you use the Excel option if you want to take advantage of charts and formulas in that tool. However, there's also an option to export in CSV or comma-separated value, which can be used in any spreadsheet application. Use this option if you want to read the file with an application other than Excel. SAP Ariba reports export to Microsoft Excel using a prepackaged standard template. If you export a report to Excel, the exported data is put into a Microsoft Excel workbook and divided into different worksheet tabs. The tabs you will see vary depending on which template you choose when you exported the data, but they typically include a data worksheet, a chart table, chart tabs, and a pivot table. Not only can you export a report ad hoc, you can also schedule a background report to run at a set time, whether or not you're logged into the solution. And you can schedule to run once or at regular intervals, and it will also allow you to send to recipients outside of SAP Ariba. The results will arrive in an email with an attached Excel spreadsheet. Prior to October 2018, you needed to use Microsoft Internet Explorer and ActiveX controls to export a report to Excel, but not anymore. Just make sure you open a service request to activate report exports without ActiveX controls, and then you can use any browser like Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. You'll also need proper permissions to generate reports and access underlying data. You'll at least need the analyst permission to export a report. Now, what's the value of this? Why would you use these features? Well, first, it allows you to download your data from the system and use in Excel, which is a very powerful tool. You could aggregate other data from other sources in Excel, and really the sky's the limit. Also, by scheduling your reports, you capture a snapshot of your data in time, and you can compare deltas. Finally, not all of your stakeholders will access this system. So why not send the report to them on a weekly or daily cadence, pre-filtered with the data that they need, right in their email inbox? Okay, so we've talked about what the feature is and why you should be using it. Now, let's show it in the solution. First, let's export a report. You can export any report really, a prepackaged report, a custom report, or a report that's available in your public folder. In this case, I'm going to export a report that I have saved in my personal workspace. I'm going to click here on this report, the active contract and spend account, procurement contracts. First, I have to run the report. Here, for example, I have to choose my filters. I'll run this for the past year. And now you can see my report has been generated. Now, if you click export up here in the upper right-hand corner, it will generate an Excel file. Now, let's say you want to configure this export before you actually export it from the system. Maybe you want to export it in the CSV file format, or you don't want to export this current pivot table. You'd like to export different ranges or hierarchies of data. Just click on Actions, Configure Export. Here on the Export Data page, you can choose whether you'd like to export in Excel or CSV. And if you do choose Excel, you can choose which template you'd like to export it in, whether it's one of the out-of-the-box system templates or a customized template that you might have added more rows and calculations. Also below, you can choose the data set you'd like to export. You can choose the current pivot table contents as filtered in the report, or you can choose a custom data set. It's much more powerful. You can choose which aggregate data you'd like to export, whether you'd like to export the detailed data as well of all the different facts, as well as the hierarchy levels before exporting. So this is a very useful tool here. Now I'm back in my personal workspace. Let's show how to schedule a report in the background and send it automatically via email to external recipients. I'll click on the same report that I clicked on before and on Run in Background. Here I'll be able to customize any filters. In this case, I'd like to run the last year of the report. And for example, any page level data filters that I have, I can choose as well. I'm going to leave them as is. And then I'll click Background. I'll have to save it since I did change the filter. And now the Schedule Background Report page appears. I can choose the schedule, whether I'd like to run this once, or once at a certain date, or for a cadenced period. In this case, I'm going to choose a cadenced period. I'll run it weekly, every Sunday at 3 a.m. between now and 2020. Below, I can choose how many runs of the report I'd like to keep in the database. If I'd like to attach the report to the notification email, this is very important. This is what will send the report to the external recipients. And then I can choose the recipients who will receive the report in their inbox. Either I can select from users, clicking on recipient users, or you can add ad hoc email addresses for users who don't have a login. Just make sure you separate the email addresses with a comma. And then finally, just make sure you click Save. You'll see a summary screen of your schedule changes and click OK. I hope you found this self-service video useful. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to Ariba Support, your Best Practice Center consultant, or your customer engagement executive.